Yeah.
Now, when did you start to fully believe in yourself that you were able to achieve what you wanted to do in tennis? When did the belief sit in where you're like, yes, this is possible for me?
Oh, very early, I knew already I will become number one of the world. Like I was 7, I think it was probably first was the first TV show I had. I was guest in one of these kids shows and on a national
Kid Stars
TV
or something, or
whatever, something like that. And I said that tennis is my commitment, is my obligation, is something I have to do. I mean, I was so disciplined, at that time. And they say that there's a great quote about this one, is discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishments, right?
Mm-hmm.
So whatever in life you envision to do, you got to be disciplined.
Yes.
Discipline spiritually, discipline in sports, in whatever, in your family, in your relationships. So very early, I think, and my parents and my tennis mother, Jelena Gencic, they've deeply ingrained that discipline in me. And then I knew, I mean, already 7, 8, I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. I knew it was very clear. And what is strange about it is that, if you take in consideration all the circumstances in which I've grown up as a child, it was very odd. And there was many people, that were laughing at it. And it just, it was, my parents, my father had to, he went through so much. I'm eternally grateful to both my parents, and my father has borrowed money from people that were chasing him in car. I mean, you would not imagine the experiences that he had and we had in order for me to travel to United States, for example, for the first time in my life.
Sure.
And during those 90s, I mean, and because of embargo and all the things, the criminal rate raised. So there was a lot of, kidnapping and, different stuff. And it's not even close like that now. Now it's great. It's fantastic. It's safe and it's all fine. But during those 7, 8 years, it was really tough. People were scraping and people were fighting for their lives, basically surviving. It's a matter of like, if you take one bread or two breads, it makes a difference.
Of
you don't need to stay in the line, and God knows if you're going to have a bread in a week time. So it was literally that kind of survival mode for everyone. So I think from very early stages of my life, I knew what I wanted to do, but not just what I wanted to do, but what I wanted to achieve, what is going to be my accomplishment in what I do. Mm-hmm. And I think because I had these objectives in life, I managed to have the mental clarity. I managed to so you kind of in tennis, and Andre Agassi is my coach now, and I'm proud to have him in my team. He always says, in tennis, you work from top backwards, from basically setting up a goal, and then you work your way back. And it's just, exactly the whole season, how it's going to look like, because, okay, this is what I want to, this is my season goal. So, and then let me work my way back to this moment. And so this is probably a definition of how I felt at that moment mentally, and what, the plans that I had, the visions that I had. I was 7, I already, I was making like out of, like plastic or like a little paper materials. I was making the Wimbledon trophy. I was lifting, and stuff like this. So it was very, very clear in my mind that that's going to be my life, my mission.
Have you ever doubted yourself going on to, and being a professional and going against some of these top players for the first time? Did you ever have doubt? Or were you always like, I can beat them, I can be the best?
Oh, I had plenty of doubts, and plenty of doubtful moments. I probably the one that stands out the most was back in 2010, when I was already, number 3 of the world. I was already a Grand Slam winner. I was an established player in, top 5 in the world, from already 3-4 years before that. So I was already into it, and I've won my first Grand Slam in Australian Open in January 2008, and I was 20 years old.
Wow.
And it was a dream come true. The whole I was very successful in junior days and everything. Yeah. It was just, I had this upward kind of spiral and trajectory in my tennis career, in my life, and everything was great. Everything was great, and then all of a sudden I had this period of 2.5, 3 years where I didn't win a slam.
Really?
I was managing to be 3, 4 in the world, but I struggled a lot, and for me being number 3 of the world wasn't enough. I was not satisfied with that, and I always go back and say, wait, okay, when I was 7, 8 years old, my dream, my life goal was always to be number 1 and win Wimbledon. That's it, and I need to achieve that no matter what.
Yeah.
And so, but then I reached the kind of mentally low point in my career. I think it was after Roland Garros, one of the 4 slams, and I lost. I was 2 sets to love up. I lost in 5 sets in quarterfinals against a guy called Jürgen Melzer. He was top 10 of the world, very good player. But I had him. I mean, I had a match and I just lost, and I just had a breakdown. And I remember going first to my parents and talking about this and that, and I cried, and I don't know if this is worth it. I don't know if I should keep going, and they're like, and my father was like, toughen up, no, like this kind of things, and I'm like, okay, but it wasn't enough. Like I felt I needed to think about it more. I felt I needed to share more. So I went to my coach at that time, Marian Vaida, and my one of my best friends in life and my former physiotherapist, Miljan, and I was in their room, and I remember sitting on the floor, and I just, again, I had another breakdown, and I was saying, I don't know, and they were like, okay, take your time, and just let's first, okay, breathe, and let's calm down, and then let's look back. And they were really, really wise for telling me, like let's go look back first, why did you start playing the sport and the whole thing, and do you love it? Do you still feel, leave aside what you want to achieve, what you want to do,
passion for it.
But do you really like holding racket in your hand? And then I'm like, actually, I do. I love holding a racket in my hand, whether it's a Grand Slams, center court finals, whatever, or it's just a normal, public court. I still like playing for the sake of playing. They're like, well, that's your source. That's what you need to tap into, and it's take a little bit of time. And literally, they thought it's going to take a few weeks. Next day, I'm like, okay, I'm back on track. Let's go. Let's keep going. And I never looked back ever since that moment. And I remember the next tournament was Wimbledon, probably played semifinals. And then after that, I won Davis Cup with my country, with my guys, end of that 2010. That was one of the highlights of my career.
Yeah.
And then after that, I went into having 43 matches win in a row. And I had that streak. I became number 1.
How long is that for?
It's like almost 6 months.
6 months. You didn't lose one match.
Yeah. Yeah,
it was a set, but not a match, right? Not a game.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Holy
no,
cow.
that was one of the. It was McEnroe and myself. We hold the record for longest streak of
you tied
history. Okay, so this is if you go online.
More.
So wait. So if you go online, you'll say John McEnroe 42, Novak Djokovic 41.
Oh no!
Why? Because they didn't count the 2 matches of the guys that retired the matches to me, so they didn't count them as wins, and I would have the 40. But okay, John. John, you have it. You have it, John. Okay, you have it. So it's John.
Man.
Yeah.
That's gotta feel amazing. You were just in the zone.
No, it was unbelievable, and it just gave me wings. I mean, I felt, all of a sudden that I started to, play freely. I didn't, between winning the first slam and that moment, it was 3 years, and I felt like I was playing for the wrong reasons. I was playing because I wanted to achieve. I wanted to this. I wanted to lift trophies. I wanted to do this and that. I didn't, and that's okay, but that's secondary. The first, the primary, so to say, motivation needs to be what inspired you to start playing, what made you fall in love with the sport. Mm-hmm. And that is the love, the joy, the passion for it, to play it, and so I all of a sudden became the kid that I was when I started. And I felt so much power and energy, and I just, exactly. So